What's going on, ASVAB 40 people? Anderson here, your ASVAB coach. And if you're watching this video the day it came out, well, we have ourselves a word knowledge class tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So word knowledge, I know a lot of the times it can feel like a game of chance. And I'm going to show you how to actually prepare for the word knowledge the right way. It's not going to be, looking for lists of words that people say or on the test. No, it's going to be by actually expanding your vocabulary steadily, where you're going to get to the point where you recognize certain prefixes, suffixes, root words, where you recognize a plethora of words that normally you wouldn't have recognized. Because here's the thing, the word knowledge is not testing you on your ability to memorize all words in the entire English language. No, it's testing you on your ability to see how well you're incorporated already into everyday culture and very common words that are shown in everyday culture. So just because I say common words, that doesn't mean that I'm talking about words that you should obviously know. No. What I'm saying by a common word is a word that is used frequently in culture, in newspapers, magazines, TV shows, movies, anything that is basically modern media. You want to know the definitions of some of these words that are used very frequently. So lapse is one of those words. So again, this is how we want to approach it. We want to expand our vocabulary naturally to get to the point where we're prepared, nice and easy. So lapse most nearly means what? We have consistency, shield, revolution, or interval. Sounds good. So when it comes to tackling word knowledge, I always ask myself, well, do I know the word or not? And if I don't know the word, have I heard it before? If I have heard of it before, what context, what feeling did I get? Are there any prefixes or suffixes or root words? Ask yourself those questions as opposed to, well, it sounds like consistency. It sounds like this one. It sounds... No. Come on, take some strategy here. Go through it the right way and give yourself the best chance. And when you're learning words, I'm going to go through that in the next slide when I go over the answer. But the answer here is going to be, if you've heard the word lapse before, you might think of a lapse in judgment or a lapse in time. And when you think of the word lapse, not L-A-P-S, but L-A-P-S-E, what you think of there is really this. There's a gap. A lapse in judgment. There's a gap in your judgment. A lapse in time. There's a gap in time. Which one of these sounds like a gap? Consistency? That's not a gap. Consistency is going all the way through continuously. Nope. That's not going to be it. Not going to be it. Shield? No, that's not a gap. That's a barrier. Revolution? You see what I'm doing? I'm saying what the word means or what I think it means, comparing it to that word. No. Revolution? Revolution isn't a gap. I think it's a change. A revolution is a change, not a gap. Interval, that could be a gap. An interval between, the interval between going to lunch and working out. The interval between Monday and Thursday. The gap between Monday and Thursday. So this is the word right here that closely resembles the word lapse. And let me show you how you want to tackle these words every time you practice. So let me move myself all the way up here. And we're going to go ahead and understand how to tackle these words the right way. There's 3 things that you always want to do if you expect to learn a word, not just memorize it and forget it in a couple of days, but actually learn the words. There's a 3-step strategy, 1, 2, and 3. And so if you want to learn these 3 steps, which I'm going to show you anyway, but if you want to practice this the right way, consistently, under help that you can trust and really rely on, then I would really recommend that you consider my full program. My full program pretty much just makes it easier to study. It makes it easier to understand why you're anxious about the test and understand how you can take the proper steps necessary day by day without doing too much to get that score that you want and the job you deserve. So again, that's where I come in and I lead the way all the way through. This is everything you get. All of my classes, all of my support, you can text me whenever you need me, all of my practice problems, worksheets, study guides, everything, okay? So consider that. My number is 567-698-8867, and you can also find the link to the program in the description of this video. Also, right down there at the bottom left, you also see that link right over here. So, ding, right there. So, let's go ahead and go over these 3 things. 1, you always want to make sure you define the word. Always make sure you define it. That's pretty much what almost everybody does when they study word knowledge, but that's where they stop. Defining it is the very, very first step in terms of understanding something fully. Because here, when you define it, really you're committing it to memory. But the thing is, without building connections on top of that one piece of information, you're going to forget it very quickly. Your brain is going to forget it. It's not going to build those connections. So here, after you define it, what you need to make sure you know are synonyms. So a synonym is basically a word that means the same thing. You need to understand the connection between this word and other words, kind of like lapse and judgment, or excuse me, lapse and gap, or lapse and interval, right over here. Interval, gap, right? The definition of lapse is passage of time. And so then number 3, the third step to truly, really building that rapport with the word and truly understanding it is going to be, can you use it in sentences? Can you use it in sentences? This is the biggest key here because you're actually applying it here. So here, first one is memory. The second one is comprehension. And the last piece here is going to be application. It's going to be application. You want to know how the word is applied, how it's used. So it's the same difference between looking at a hammer your entire life but never actually using one versus actually have been using the hammer but not looking at it too much. The more you apply, the more you understand naturally. So that's really a key here. You want to be able to use a word in sentences. And this word right here in a sentence, here we go. He has a short lapse of time in the middle of his set to smoke a cigarette. Okay, so it sounds like this person's a musician, so he has a short lapse of time in the middle of his set to go smoke a cigarette outside. So he's taking advantage of that gap in time to fulfill his vices and fulfill his needs, whatever. But there's the idea. Define it, list out those synonyms, the other words that mean the same thing, and then on top of that, use it. Use it or lose it, right? You gotta make sure you use it. And so again, my party people, as always, if you are in the program, thank you for supporting. If you're subscribed to the channel, thank you for supporting. If you're not, please consider it. Also, make sure to like this video and comment your support for the channel. That way I can keep making videos just like this and keep helping you succeed. Again, as always, I am Coach Anderson. I'm always happy to help you out. Let's ace the ASVAB, get the score we want, and that job we deserve. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I got your back.